Welcome to Claude for Treasury. I am so glad you're here. If we haven't met yet, I'm Mike. I'm a senior finance leader, and I've helped automate more than 150,000 hours out of finance processes. Most of you have tried Claude or ChatGPT. You opened it once, asked a question, got an answer, and closed the tab. The difference between poking at an AI tool and actually using it as a professional instrument is bigger than you think. It's the difference between watching a chess video and building a chess engine. One teaches you moves. The other teaches you why those moves matter in the context of your business. One is passive, the other compounds. I'm going to be straight with you. This is not an intro to Claude. YouTube has hundreds of those. This is about making Claude your Treasury assistant. Not a toy, not a brainstorm partner, an actual system that lives in your workflow, knows your entities and your thresholds, processes your bank files, and talks to your team without you standing in the middle. Most Treasury teams have tried AI once at this point. They asked it something, it gave them something back. It wasn't quite right, so they edited it themselves, and then they stopped trying. The friction was higher than the benefit. So they closed the tab. The ones who didn't stop, they figured out how to ask. They learned the mechanics of getting Claude to understand what they actually needed. And they're the ones building competitive advantage. Not because they're smarter, because they iterated past the first attempt. What we cover in this course is the full Claude stack. I'm going to show you 6 layers, from the chat interface all the way to API-connected automations that process your bank files and send briefings to your team. By the end, you'll have built 5 working deliverables. Not examples, not theory, real things you can take back to your desk Monday morning and use. Now, what we don't cover is how large language models work at the mechanical level. We don't care why the neural networks fire the way they do. That's interesting if you're building LLMs, but you're building treasury systems. We care about using Claude well for this specific job. The deep technical stuff, it's elegant. It's also not necessary for what you're trying to accomplish. I'll give you the mental model you need and nothing more. You'll understand what Claude is good at and what it isn't. You'll know when to use it and when to grab a calculator. You'll recognize when it's hallucinating and when it's right. That's enough. This course is for treasury analysts, managers, directors, people who know cash flow like they know their own coffee order, people who understand float and settlement and the shape of a month-end close, people who've built a bank reconciliation in Excel and thought there has to be a better way. No coding is required, no computer science degree. If you've opened a bank statement and understood what you were looking at, you're ready. Now here's how this works. We're going to use one running example throughout the entire course. The F9 Finance Coffee Shop. 3 locations: Astoria, Hell's Kitchen, Lower Manhattan. Each location has its own banking structure. Each location has 4 bank accounts: operating checking, merchant settlement for credit card deposits, payroll, and a reserve or a savings account. The operating checking accounts have critical thresholds. Astoria, 100,000 minimum. Hell's Kitchen needs 150,000. Lower Manhattan needs 200. These aren't arbitrary numbers. They're business decisions. If an account falls below that, something's wrong. Maybe a vendor payment cleared early. Maybe a credit card processor deposit is late. Maybe there's a fraud flag somewhere. On the first day of our analysis, everything is healthy. Astoria's operating checking account is sitting at 185,000. Hell's Kitchen, 264. Lower Manhattan, 392. All comfortably above their critical minimums. But then, the next day, something breaks. Astoria's operating checking account doesn't just drop below the threshold. It goes negative, minus 41,000. No warning email, no system notification that caught it in real time, just a gap. When the team checked the account at the end of the day, after being busy and pulled into fires, they discovered it. And that gap, that moment of discovery instead of prevention, that's what everything you build in this course is designed to catch. You're not going to sit and watch dashboards all day. You're not going to open your bank portal every morning before the staff opens. By the end of this course, the system watches for you. It flags exceptions before they become problems. It sends you a briefing, and you walk in every morning knowing exactly where the F9 Finance Coffee Shop stands, without opening a single application. So here's the 5 deliverables you'll build. First, a daily liquidity briefing. You feed it a raw bank extract, whatever your core system spits out. No cleanup, the prompt structures it. Dates, balances, exceptions flagged, threshold analysis, recommendations, a one-pager. The kind of thing you can forward to your CFO without editing a single word. Second, a Claude project configured as your Treasury policy assistant. It's not just Claude, it's Claude plus your playbook. You upload your entity structure, your operating thresholds, your investment policy statement. You write a system prompt. We'll talk about what that is. Every conversation that happens inside this project gets shaped by your specific business rules. Your team asks it compliance questions. Is this trade allowed? Do we have sufficient liquidity? Claude answers from the context of your actual playbook. Third, an artifact-based cash position tracker. Multi-entities, color-coded exceptions highlighted. You feed it your daily bank balances. It shows you immediately where you stand against your thresholds. Green where it's healthy, yellow where you're getting close, red where you're in trouble. The kind of dashboard that was supposed to take you an hour in Excel takes 30 seconds to generate. Fourth, a Claude code automation that processes bank files and flags exceptions. You describe the problem, Claude writes the code. You don't touch a line. Astoria's balance drops below the threshold, it gets flagged. A merchant settlement account moves in an unexpected direction, caught. You're not eyeballing statements anymore. The code finds the problems. Fifth, an N8N workflow connected to the Claude API. This is the automation that runs without you. Every weekday morning at 7:30, the workflow triggers. It pulls the bank files, processes them with the code you built in deliverable 4, generates the liquidity briefing from deliverable 1, packages everything into a markdown email, sends it to your team, runs automatically. These aren't thought experiments. These are real systems, the kind that compound over time, over a quarter, over a year. They become massive efficiency levers. Less manual work, better decisions, fewer surprises at month close. By the end of Module 0, you'll understand the full architecture. You'll see where you are now, where you're going, and what each leg of the journey's for. You'll understand how the pieces fit together. Now, Module 1 is where we start building. We pick up Claude Chat. We learn how to ask the right questions the right way. We build that first liquidity briefing prompt. You'll see immediately how this changes your morning routine. A Claude isn't a single tool. It's a stack of 6 layers. Each one builds on the last. Each one solves a different problem. Most people live in the bottom layer their whole lives being the last 2 years these tools have existed. They don't even know the other 5 exist. Understanding the stack matters because it shapes how you approach your Treasury work. You're not learning Claude, you're learning to build with Claude. Now, different problems require different layers. A quick analysis uses layer 1. A persistent assistant uses layer 2. Structured outputs use layer 3. Deep analysis uses layer 4. File processing, layer 5. A full end-to-end automation uses layer 6. The foundation of all of this is Claude Chat. This is where everyone starts. You open the website, you type a question, you get back an answer. Better prompts get better answers. Worse prompts get worse ones. That's it. That's the bottom layer. Sounds simple? And it is. But simple is powerful. Most of what you need to do in Treasury, drafting a policy briefing, analyzing a counterparty, structuring a compliance question, asking for help with a complex calculation, that's all Claude Chat. The entire rest of this course is built on understanding how to ask these questions well. If you never move past layer 1, you're still ahead of everyone who never opened the tool. But you're taking this course, so you're going to move past layer 1. And when you do, you'll start to see what's really possible. Now, layer 2 is Claude projects. This is where Claude stops feeling like a chatbot and starts feeling like a configured system. A project is a persistent container. You upload your knowledge files, your policy documents, your entity structure, your IPS, your previous analyses. You write a system prompt. Every conversation that happens inside that project gets shaped by your playbook. Think of it this way. Chat is asking a stranger for help. Projects is talking to your colleague who already knows your company. You don't have to re-explain your thresholds every time. You don't have to paste your IPS into every single prompt. Claude already has it. The context is persistent. For F9 Finance, this means uploading your entity structure, the 3 locations, the 4 accounts per location, the threshold for each, your investment policy statement, your counterparty limits, your settlement preferences. Then every conversation happens in the context of those specific business rules. Your team asks a policy question. Is this investment allowed? Claude doesn't start from scratch. It already knows your entity structure. It already knows your IPS. It answers from the context of your actual guidebook. That's not theoretical. That saves significant time. Layer 3 is Claude Artifacts. This is the output layer. When you ask Claude to build something structured, a report, a tracker, a framework, a compliance table, it doesn't dump the text into the chat and make you copy-paste into Excel. It generates a separate document, self-contained, formatted, ready to share or iterate. Now, instead of spending 20 minutes fighting formatting in Excel, the thing you want is already formatted, exactly how you want it. The cash position tracker has the columns you need. The exceptions are highlighted how your boss likes it. The thresholds are color-coded. You refresh the data, the whole thing updates. You don't touch the formatting, ever. Layer 4 is cowork and deep research. Most of what you do in layers 1 through 3 is conversational. You ask, Claude answers. But sometimes you need something deeper. You need Claude to do analysis that would take a junior analyst 2 hours. Pull data from multiple sources, cross-reference, synthesize, dig. That's deep research. It's Claude thinking out loud, step by step, building an argument from the ground up. A counterparty credit analysis, a regulatory briefing, a competitive summary of settlement options. Those are deep research problems. You hand them off, Claude digs into the material, you get back work that's complete and thorough. It's the difference between asking for help and delegating an analysis entirely. On the same layer is Claude Cowork. This is a powerful tool that can actually run on your computer and manage files within the permissions you give it. This allows work to happen with the data and information you already have. No uploading files, no configuring things, it's all there. Plus, as you build context and memory and skills over time, it's all right there ready for cowork. Even better, with recent releases, you can schedule tasks to run in cowork, and you can even kick off cowork processes from your iPhone. Cowork was the ultimate game changer. That is, of course, before Layer 5. Layer 5 is Claude Code. This is where the magic happens for file processing. You've got bank files coming in, Excel extracts, CSV feeds. You could spend the afternoon writing a Python script to parse them, clean the data, extract what matters, flag exceptions. Or you could describe what you need to Claude. You tell Claude what problem you're solving. It writes the code, runs it, shows you the output. If something's wrong, you tell it what to fix. It iterates, no coding knowledge required. You describe the problem in plain English. The code gets generated, tested, and executed without you touching anything. You just get the results. And lastly, Layer 6 is full end-to-end automation. This is Claude API plus N8N, a tool I'll teach you. This is where everything gets automated at scale. The API is Claude's access endpoint, and N8N is the orchestration layer. You wire them together, set a trigger, hit the API in a schedule, process files automatically, send emails without human hands. Set it, forget it, it works. This is the destination. This is where the coffee shop's bank files come in at 6 a.m., get processed at 6:15, and your team has a daily briefing before they open the first location. No manual work, no waiting. Automatic. The progression is intentional. Each layer makes the one below more useful. Layer 2 makes Layer 1 productive by adding context. Layer 3 makes Layer 2 shareable by making outputs polished and ready. Layer 5 makes Layer 4 scalable by removing manual steps. Layer 6 makes everything automatic and reliable. By the time you reach Layer 6, Layers 1 through 5 are already second nature. You're not learning the stack all at once. You're stacking the skills. Each module builds on the last. It compounds. In Module 1, we'll start with Layer 1. We pick up the prompt fundamentals you actually need. Not every possible technique, just the ones that matter for Treasury work. How to ask for structure. How to feed Claude context. How to get reliable outputs. How to iterate when something's not quite right. Then we move up the stack, one layer at a time. Each module takes another piece. By the time you reach Module 6, you've built something that works without you in the middle anymore. Let me show you exactly what you're signing up for. 5 deliverables, real systems, built step by step. Not abstractions, things that work. The first deliverable is a daily liquidity briefing prompt. This is a pure layer 1. You feed it a raw bank extract from your core system, whatever format you get it in. The prompt structures it into something readable. Dates, balances, exceptions flagged. Threshold analysis, some recommendations. Even a one-pager. Good enough to forward to your CFO without editing. You build this in Module 1. It takes an hour or less. No coding, pure prompting. Once you build it, you use it every single morning. F9 Finance has 3 locations, your actual balances, your actual minimums. You paste in yesterday's bank extract, you get back a structured briefing. Instant liquidity overview, no spreadsheet math, no manual formatting. The second deliverable is a Claude project, your Treasury policy assistant. This is layer 2. You upload your entity structure, your operating thresholds, your investment policy statement, your counterparty limits. You write a system prompt that shapes how Claude responds to every question. Your team uses this constantly. Is this trade allowed under our IPS? Do we have enough cash in Hell's Kitchen to cover payroll tomorrow? What's our exposure limit on this counterparty? Do we have room to invest this amount? Claude answers from the context of your actual playbook, not generic guidance from the internet. Your business rules, your thresholds, your constraints. You build this in Module 2. 1 hour setup. Then you've got a constantly available policy advisor. No more emailing you compliance questions. No more confusion about whether something's allowed. Your team has the answers themselves. The third deliverable is a cash position tracker. Layer 3, multi-entity, color-coded. Exceptions highlighted at the bottom. You feed it your daily bank balances from all 3 locations, all 4 accounts per location. It shows you immediately where you stand against your thresholds. Green, where cash is healthy and growing. Yellow, where you're getting close to minimums. Red, where you're in trouble. One look and you know the entire picture. Which locations are tight, which accounts need attention, where problems might be brewing. You build this in Module 3. It's an artifact. One prompt generates it. You refresh the balances daily and the whole picture updates automatically. No manual formatting, no copy-paste errors. No fighting Excel. The structure is already there. You just feed it the data. The fourth deliverable is a bank file processor. Layer 5. This is Claude code. You get bank extracts in various formats. CSV files, Excel sheets, maybe a PDF. You describe what you want extracted and flagged. Claude writes the code, runs it on your files, processes them automatically, flags exceptions. A story's balance drops below the critical threshold, the code catches it. A merchant settlement account moves in an unexpected direction, the code flags it. A payroll account is lower than expected, well, the code alerts you. You're not eyeballing statements anymore. The code finds the problems. Quickly, consistently, without error. You build this in Module 5. You describe the problem in plain English. You show Claude a sample file. Claude handles the code. You don't need to know Python or data science. You just need to know what problem you're solving. The fifth deliverable is the full automation stack. Layer 6, N8N plus Claude API. This is the system that runs without you touching anything after setup. Every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m., the workflow triggers. It pulls the bank files from your core system, runs the Claude code processor from deliverable 4, generates the liquidity briefing from deliverable 1 using your project from deliverable 2, packages everything into a markdown email, and sends it to your team. Your team walks in Monday morning. The briefing is already there. Cash positions calculated. Exceptions flagged. Threshold analysis done. Recommendations made. They've got the picture before they pour their coffee, before they check email, before they do anything else. You'll build this in Module 6. It's an integration layer. You're not writing complex code, you're wiring together the pieces you've already built. Connect the API, set the schedule, map the outputs. It works. These 5 systems compound. Deliverable 1 is nice to have, saves time. Deliverable 2 is useful, makes compliance questions answerable without you. By deliverable 3, you're looking at real, consistent efficiency gains. By 4 and 5, you've got automation infrastructure. You're not a treasury person managing Claude, you're a treasury person with a system. That system runs in the background. You check in on it, you iterate on it, you add more entities, more rules, more sophistication, more automations. But the core machine is built and running without you standing in the middle. That's what this course delivers. Not just knowledge, but infrastructure. Now, Module 1 is where we start. We pick up the prompt fundamentals. We build that first liquidity briefing. You'll see immediately how this changes your morning routine and frees you for higher value work.